Hey, hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron. Welcome back to the Gamertron Show, and welcome to the very first episode of the Gamertron News Network, GTNN. Unlike CNN, I am not fake news. GTNN is my brand new weekly news show where we go over gaming news that's happened the past week. We start with the headlines, move into the facts, and go straight into my opinion. With all that being said, let's not waste any time. Let's jump into it with our very first news story about the announcement of a brand new video game IP. Although this story is a bit old, it is, however, always beneficial to notify everybody when new games are coming out, especially new IPs. And this new video game was teased earlier this month with a very stylistic, anime-esque style teaser trailer with the hashtag Prepare to Dine, which of course sounds like the infamous hashtag associated with the Dark Souls franchise, hashtag Prepare to Die. And this teaser was released by Namco Bandai, the publishers of Dark Souls, so needless to say, this got a lot of people interested. Is this a sequel to Bloodborne, a new Dark Souls-esque spin-off game? Well, Bandai Namco set up everyone for a surprise, as this is not something being developed by From Software. This is not a game set in the Soulsborne universe. It is instead a new third-person action role-playing game called Code Vein, being developed by the developers of the God Eater franchise. Code Vein will have players playing as vampires called Revenants, and with the aid of an AI-controlled partner, and will, quote, battle vicious enemies and monstrous bosses in an attempt to escape the region of Vein. As a Revenant, players can absorb the powers of their enemies via blood vials and use them to, quote, increase their strength, weaken enemies, and utilize their new weapons abilities with overpowered attacks. Definitely sounds like an action role-playing game to me. Code Vein is slated for release sometime in 2018 and will be releasing on the consoles Xbox One and PS4. No reports if it will be coming to PC. In my personal opinion, I'm glad to see Namco Bandai experimenting with new IPs, new franchises. Not a lot of video game publishers do that nowadays. And when they do, it's never a guaranteed success. And it's also great to see the developers of the God Eater franchise also work on a new IP, work on a new game, and to see them getting their name out there. I've never played any of the God Eater games, but I hear a lot about them. There's very few of them on PC, but from what I understand, it has a very niche, very cult following. People seem to really like the God Eater games, and the developers deserve more praise and more recognition for the God Eater games, so hopefully, with Code Vein, this will help get the devs out there and provide us all with an awesome new video game franchise. And looking at the screenshots of Code Vein, it looks like ridiculous, over-the-top Japanese anime ludicrousness with crazy looking creatures, crazy looking armor and weapons. It looks ridiculously over the top, but these are just the screenshots and character designs. We need to see some actual gameplay, but so far Code Vein is looking pretty sweet. Here's hoping it comes to PC. To add to that news story with new game releases, I'm sure all of you have heard by now, but Call of Duty, the new Call of Duty for 2017 has been announced, revealed, the trailers are out. This year's Call of Duty is Call of Duty World War II. I'll get into the name of the game in a moment. But yes, Call of Duty is going back to World War II, with an all-new single-player campaign playing as American soldiers, storming the beaches of Normandy, making their way through German-occupied France, and having ourselves a grand old Allies versus Axis good time. As we can see, Activision has indeed been listening to player and community feedback and the demand for Call of Duty to go back to its roots. Well, they're going all the way back to their roots. Back to World War II. You can expect Call of Duty World War II to be released sometime in November, as every Call of Duty comes out every year in November. Single-player campaign and multiplayer details are limited as of right now, but you can expect that to be expanded upon in the months to come. Before I get into some more interesting Call of Duty World War II news, I want to give my opinion quickly on the title of this upcoming new Call of Duty. First off, good on Activision, good on Sledgehammer Games for actually listening to the community, listening to player feedback, and going back to what Call of Duty does best: historical and modern warfare. While the previous free science fiction Call of Duty games haven't been terrible games by any means, they've certainly had their issues, and at times didn't feel like actual Call of Duty games. Call of Duty World War II, this looks like a Call of Duty game. With all that being said, this is the dumbest title, that is the dumbest name for a Call of Duty video game I have ever seen. The first free Call of Duties, and then a Call of Duty after that with Call of Duty World at War, have all been set in World War II. This is not something grand or special. Yes, you're going back to your roots, but the first free Call of Duty games were in World War II, so why are you calling this Call of Duty World War II? It's not the first Call of Duty game to go to World War II. Are we just going to ignore that the first free Call of Duties happened? That the series hasn't already been in World War II? Like, there's so many other things you could have called this game, but you called it Call of Duty World War II? That's so dumb. It's like calling the new Xbox the Xbox One. Oh wait, they actually did that. Just to me, personal opinion, I think Call of Duty World War II is just a stupid name for the game. The game itself looks like a Call of Duty game. It looks like a AAA first-person shooter game, a high-budget World War II game. The title is just, in my opinion, so dumb. Why would you call it World War II? Oh, that's so stupid. Anyways, in more Call of Duty World War II news, God, that just sounds wrong coming out of my mouth. Like, am I talking about the first free Call of Duties or what? But in more Call of Duty World War II news, it has been revealed, a new gameplay detail has been revealed, but it hasn't been confirmed if this is single player only or if this is translating to both the single player and the multiplayer, because if this is coming to multiplayer, this is a big deal, as it has been reported for the campaign at least, again, no confirmation on the multiplayer yet, but regenerating health is not going to be in the single-player campaign for Call of Duty World War II, which is a surprisingly big deal, as regenerating health has been a mainstay, a core mechanic of the Call of Duty series, and taking it out and replacing it with a more typical med pack system, it's going to completely change the design and flow of gameplay, which is going to be very interesting. Regenerating health has played such a huge part in the Call of Duty franchise that taking out regenerating health, putting in health packs, it's going to be very interesting to see how Call of Duty World War II plays and how the community responds to this new change. Granted, this has only been confirmed for the single-player campaign. No confirmation if that's in multiplayer yet. We will have to wait and see. Talking about more upcoming game release news, Injustice 2. NetherRealm Studios, the developers of the Mortal Kombat games, are having their sequel to their DC superhero fighting game coming out soon this May. They've recently revealed multiple new characters coming to the game, including fan-favorite villains such as Darkseid, Brainiac, and of course the Joker, alongside more details about combat, the cinematic story mode, and other features of the game. I liked the first Injustice. It was a pretty awesome fighting game. I expect nothing less from NetherRealm Studios. The new characters they've revealed so far look awesome, with their animations, movesets, etc. However, there is controversy a-brewing, because even though the game isn't out yet, the Mortal Kombat and Injustice and fighting game community overall, while looking forward to the game, have some very understandable concerns based on what's been revealed so far, specifically concerning the new gear system. In Injustice 2, as you play as the different superheroes and supervillains, as you play as them, level them up, you gain access to new gear pieces for them, which allow you to customize the visual look of all the different characters in the game, as well as their statistics. This has many people concerned about the balancing of the game, just how well developed is the gear system, is there the possibility of overpowered gear, and the most concerning of all, will there be a microtransaction system tied to the gear system where you can pay money to earn gear? Now, NetherRealm Studios have officially stated that there will be no microtransactions in Injustice 2, and this has the fighting game community, the Mortal Kombat, and Injustice communities in a real heated debate with one another. While some people believe NetherRealm Studios that the gear system will not affect balance or break game balance or any way, and they believe NetherRealm Studios when they say that there will be no microtransactions in the game specifically tied to the gear system, or otherwise. Thing is though, while I certainly want to believe NetherRealm Studios, with their previous work on Mortal Kombat X, and that game was chock full of microtransactions, including the option to buy easy fatalities, and the option to pay money to unlock all items in the crypt, basically pay money to skip the progression system, and also game director over at NetherRealm Studios, Ed Boon, was caught lying multiple times over MKX. Specifically in this clip where Ed Boon was being interviewed by YouTuber Angry Joe.
As a PC, one last thing is that I play on PC with Twitch with my fans. Hopefully the PC is not going to be an awful port. You guys are going to make sure it's going to be as good as the console.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe show.
Needless to say, when Mortal Kombat X released on PC, it had quite its fair share of issues, including graphical issues, frame rate issues, online connectivity issues, and optimization issues. Now, in my personal opinion, I'd usually be on the side of the developers and say to give them some slack, give them some leeway. I want to believe NetherRealm Studios when they say that the gear system is balanced and it's not tied to any microtransactions. I want to believe them, I hope what they're saying is true, but there are multiple accounts with their previous game, Mortal Kombat X, where there was some shady shit going on. They did indeed fix the PC version later on, and Mortal Kombat X was a fantastic video game, and so was Injustice, and so was Mortal Kombat 9 before it. I have no doubt Injustice 2 is going to be an awesome fighting game. Me personally though, I'm going to remain a bit skeptical concerning the gear system, whether there will be microtransactions in Injustice 2 and the eventual Injustice 2 PC port, which will be coming out later this year or next year, depending if Warner Bros. Game Studios and NetherRealm Studios find it profitable enough to bring Injustice 2 to the PC. Well, we'll have to wait and see. In more upcoming game news, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor has had more reveals specifically concerning its brand new upgraded Nemesis system. The developers of the game, Monolith, in partnership with games journalist media company IGN, have released an exclusive video on the IGN YouTube channel where a developer from Monolith, while showing off some exclusive alpha gameplay of the game, go over in detail the new Nemesis system and the upgrades and changes they've made to it, specifically showing off how the Nemesis system now affects the environment, not just the individual Uruks, but how those different individual procedurally generated Uruks will now affect their environment, specifically the overlords and the war chiefs. Depending on what type of Uruk overlord is in charge of the region and its environment will change and look different. It will affect buildings, monuments, wildlife, and even the types of Uruk you will encounter in the region. I highly recommend going over to IGN's channel and checking out this exclusive video. Provides some very interesting new details on the upcoming Shadow of War and its new Nemesis system. In my personal opinion, this looks friggin' awesome. A true evolution and expansion of the already excellent Nemesis system in Shadow of Mordor. Shadow of War just looks to be bigger and better than Shadow of Mordor with everything they're showing off in terms of gameplay mechanics, in terms of the scope of the open world, the new RPG gear system, just everything. Shadow of War is looking awesome. Now, let's move on to upcoming game updates and DLC news. First up, For Honor Season 2 is about to commence this month in May. This will be For Honor's first real big content drop. It will include 2 new playable hero characters, the Shinobi and the Centurion, for the Samurai and Knights factions, respectively, as well as 2 brand new maps, your typical game updates, patches, fixes, balance changes, and brand new gear for all of the heroes. All of this brand new, free content is coming to For Honor in its 2nd season on May 16th. So if you have For Honor on PC or on console, well, you can look forward to all this new content, new playable characters, new maps, new gear, some much needed fixes and changes, all of it coming this month in May on the 16th. And now for some Titanfall 2 DLC speculation. For the past few months now, Titanfall 2 has had a brand new free DLC update every month. And after their latest DLC update, A Glitch in the Frontier, many are speculating what the DLC will be for this month in May. Based off the DLC roadmap that Respawn Entertainment released for Titanfall 2, many are speculating that the DLC for Titanfall 2 in May is either going to be the brand new Titan, a returning map from Titanfall 1, the remaster of the map Relic, the release of the paid-for cosmetic DLC Ronin and Tone Prime, whether it's going to be one of the free, 2 of the free, or all free. As in, it is a possibility we may get the brand new Titan, the remaster of the map Relic, and the new Prime Titan cosmetics, all of it in the month of May. Or there is the possibility that we may only get the map Relic in the month of May, or only the new Titan in the month of May, and the map and or Titan will be released in the following month. Speculation, speculation, speculation. We do know sometime in May or in June, we are going to be getting a brand new Titan and the return of the map Relic from Titanfall 1, as well as the new Prime Titans, Ronin and Tone. It's only a matter of time till Respawn Entertainment officially announces which is coming when, and what we can expect to see in May, whether we're going to get one of those free things or all of those free things. All of it for free. We will have to wait and see, but Titanfall 2's DLC is most exciting. Now, let's wrap up GTNN with some bizarre, weird gaming news. Do you remember the video game De Blob. It was a Wii exclusive, where you took control of the titular Blob character, using your blobbiness to paint the world. It was a fun, family-friendly platformer puzzle game. Exclusive to the Wii, I kind of forgot this game even existed until some recent news that De Blob has been released on Steam, on PC. Keep in mind, De Blob came out on the Wii 9 years ago, so it's kind of odd to just see De Blob pop on the PC just all of a sudden. It's rare, extremely rare, to see any games from the Wii be ported onto another platform. The only other video game franchise I can think of getting a port from the Wii was No More Heroes, when it got a port to the PlayStation. So yeah, it's just weird. It's good news. It's certainly good news. Yay, more games to play on PC. And if you liked De Blob, if you played it on the Wii, you now have a new way to play it on PC. It's just really freaking weird that De Blob is only getting released on PC now, 9 years later. I didn't even know there was a demand for De Blob on PC, but here it is. Cool. In other weird gaming news that's horrifically out of date, like De Blob getting released on PC, 19 years later, Half-Life, the original Half-Life, is now finally uncensored in Germany. I'm being completely serious here. Half-Life's entry in the German Index of Censored Games has been prematurely removed, as reported by Schnitburnitschit.com. I know I completely butchered that name, I apologize. Anyways, meaning that it is now possible for the publisher, Valve, to release the uncensored versions again in Germany officially. Whether Valve ultimately choose to do so remains to be seen. Again, this is just bizarre. It was bizarre back 19 years ago when Half-Life was censored in Germany, and it's bizarre that 19 years later, Half-Life is finally being uncensored in Germany. You could get a censored version of Half-Life in Germany, but for the longest time, you can't get the original OG uncensored version of Half-Life without doing it, quote-unquote, unofficially. It's just bizarre that now, 19 years later, Half-Life, the original Half-Life, is finally being uncensored and it can be released in its full original state in Germany. Again, it's just bizarre. It's just bizarre. It makes no sense. The German government's remarkably strict content limitations on video games is just bizarre because they'll allow violent movies and television with very minimal censorship or changes made to the original material to suit German audiences. Why video games get this remarkably special, harsh treatment in Germany, it's just beyond me. And of all the games to censor, and to censor for this long, 19 years, Half-Life? Really? Again, this is just a bizarre, unique news story. So for all my German viewers out there, if you want to officially buy the original uncensored version of Half-Life in your native homeland, you now can. Congrats, Germany, you can now play OG Half-Life with the rest of the world now. Anyways, everyone, that has been the very first episode of GTNN, the Gamertron News Network. Please let me know what you think of this new show, of this new video series. If you want it to continue, if you have any interest in it at all, what do you think I can do better? Please leave your constructive criticism. If you like the archetype of this video series, I really want to hear your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on this new video series. Also, feel free to leave me news stories that you find interesting and that you want me to report on GTNN, on the show. Anyway, everyone, thanks for watching. This has been a video, and I'll see you all later.